What's up? This is the second fucking time I've done this entire video because something that I don't understand occurred and it was all destroyed. All destroyed. So I'm going to answer all the questions again. Yes! Twice! Anyway, so let's do this again. Have you ever considered cigars or cigarillos as a healthier alternative to cigarettes? First of all, I would argue, I would question whether a cigar or a cigarillo could be considered an alternative to cigarettes, because a cigarette is primarily a nicotine delivery device, and cigars you're not really supposed to inhale, and cigars usually have far less nicotine than cigarette tobacco. So I would, wouldn't be so quick to consider an alternative. Do I like cigars? I like some cigars. Some cigars smell really, really, really bad, though. Just there's no excuse for how bad that they smell. Cigarillos are usually really shitty because they're poorly made, they're way too cheap, and most of the cigarillos that are sold commonly are really, meant to be blunt wraps, which is why they're not that good. So no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be so quick to consider them healthier in any way. Have you seen the Saw 3 trailer or motion poster, and what do you think about the Saw series? What's a motion poster? Anyway, no, I haven't. I did not know they were making another one. I've seen part of one of the Saw movies. Does it really matter which one? Not really. What do I think about it? I think it lacks any entertainment value for me. It's not clever. It's just, I don't know. I'm not entertained by watching people being tortured. That's not the kind of thing I'm into. I don't know who the fuck is into that kind of thing, but that's really sick, man. I can't believe that, graphic sex is something that, a 17-year-old couldn't see, but, oh, it's okay for a 17-year-old to go to the movie and watch people get fucking tortured for 2 hours. That's fucked up. It lacks any artistic merit. And it's not scary either, so it's not really a horror movie. I don't understand. Basically, you're paying to watch people get tortured for 2 hours. I don't get that, man. I mean, if you want to watch it, go for it. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm for whatever, but I still think it's fucked up. Are you gonna keep doing the dear fat ass thing? Yes. How do you think World War III will start? Well, if World War III is a nuclear war, then I don't really think it matters, because all of us are going to die probably anyway. How do I think World War III would start? The Pakistanis and the Indians are always at each other's throats, but I don't know how that could turn into a world war, because I'm not sure how size would play out in that. But recently, Russia seems to have remembered that it has weight to throw around. They seem to have forgotten that since the beginning of the 90s. It just seemed to have dawned on them one day. Oh yeah, we have the second largest nuclear stockpile on the planet. And are, by extension, the second most powerful country on the planet. So are they going to start throwing their weight around more? We'll see. That could be a problem. Are they going to try to reclaim some of their former republics? Some of the former Soviet republics? I don't know, but that's something to look out for. Are the Chinese ever going to make any real moves on Taiwan? That would be something to look out for. This one's a little bit more far-fetched, but there has been, an increase in sympathetic thought towards fascism again, especially in places in Italy, and some places in Eastern Europe. Could a totalitarian upswell occur in the European Union? Maybe. That's something to look out for. But that's a little bit more far-fetched. But you want ideas, so I'm giving them to you. You know, it'll probably, if it happens sometime with any of the current players right now, it would probably be something that started between us and China. That's my personal opinion. You know, or if something got fucked up and you know, there was a mistake and everyone thought that somebody launched something and, you know, they really didn't, or something like that, and we end up nuking each other all on accident. But the chances of that happening are very low. Have you read the text at crimethink.com, and if so, what is your opinion? I know sort of what that's all about, but not enough to really give you an opinion on that. What are your favorite movies? I've already done a whole video on that. What do you think? When do you think the United States will no longer be a superpower, if at all? The United States will forever be a superpower as long as we maintain our nuclear stockpile. Even if we fall out economically, it doesn't matter, because any country that has the capacity of ending human life on the planet Earth is not a country that's going to be easily ignored. No matter how much the Europeans wish we'd just go away, it's not going to happen. You know, one thing that would definitely make us less powerful would be if the dollar was no longer used as the basis for trade, which is something that's moving towards being possible. But then it's going to be a question of what are they going to use? Are we going to use euros? Are we going to use you know, whatever the Chinese dollar is? I can't remember. You know, will the United States, will the Americas come together and actually make the Amero? Will that happen? Is that a possibility? Who knows? But the United States will continue to be a superpower as long as we maintain our nuclear weapons. Everyone's against nuclear weapons. Like, all the nuclear weapons are so, you know... Alright. First of all, nuclear weapons are the only reason that there hasn't already been a World War III. If the Second World War had ended and there had been no nuclear weapons, we would have, I guarantee you, 100%, and I think any reasonable historian would agree, that we would have gone to war with the Soviet Union. No fucking question. Nuclear weapons are the reason that it didn't go down like that. Nuclear weapons are the reason that regional conflicts have not turned into global wars, because people know that there's too much at stake to do that. I think that nuclear weapons are the single greatest tool for realistic peace, at least keeping conflicts as minimal as possible that we have. And I think that anyone that disagrees just doesn't see the big fucking picture. You know, do I wish that we lived in a world where we didn't need to have the capacity to kill everyone on the planet? Yes. Does my wishes matter really in the real world? No. And that's something that a lot of people have failed to understand. That what they wish was true isn't what's true. Nuclear weapons are the only reason that you know, if you care about Israel, they're the only reasons that Middle Eastern states haven't formed some sort of grand coalition and fucked up the Israelis. Nuclear weapons are the only reason that India and Pakistan aren't, you know, fucking waging war as we speak. I said Pakistan and India, right? Yes. Nuclear weapons are the only reason that China hasn't invaded Taiwan. Nuclear weapons are the only reason that North Korea isn't pulling stupid shit any more than usual. Nuclear weapons are the only reason that Russia isn't, you know, rolling across Eastern Europe. Are you going to go to any concerts besides Mayhem Fest? Ever? Yes. Do I have any planned? No. Not that I know of. I know you hate Christian Bale, but how do you think he did in The Dark Knight? What about American Psycho? I think he's overrated in American Psycho. Sorry. Excuse me, but that's just the way I feel. In The Dark Knight, I thought he did a terrible job, frankly. Batman, played by him, was not interesting. Well, none of the Batmans in any of the live-action movies have been interesting. Batman is supposed to be this, like, real complicated character, you know, with all this darkness, you know, that he's struggling with all the time. I just don't get that impression from any of the people that have played Batman. It's just been really, really shitty. All the good performances in Batman movies have been by people playing villains, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it's a shame that they can't get anyone to do a decent Batman. Are you going to get any more tattoos? Yes, I have one planned right now. It's just a matter of deciding that I want to go deal with... I don't like lining. It hurts, so it's just a matter of not being a pussy and going and starting another one. This may make me sound a lot older than I am, but do you think kids today have it too easy? Our generation didn't have it extremely difficult, but at least we're disciplined. These kids they're pumping out today don't seem to have any discipline at all. Any thoughts of your own? I'm 18, by the way. And to clarify, by kids, I mean 0 to 12 when parents are programming you. You know, I don't remember really. Like, I don't think any of us have really good perspective on how we acted when we were 0 to 12. But I will tell you one thing. I never ran around screaming like a little piece of shit asshole like all these fucking kids that I see. But then again, have kids always done that? I don't know. I couldn't answer that question. And I know that other people my age were those kind of kids. Running around and screaming on the top of their lungs. I mean, all these people with kids have moved in on my street, and I swear, I get concerned. It sounds like they're dying. They're screaming like they're being stabbed, like someone is ripping their heart out with their bare hands. I don't know what the fuck's up with that. But the thing about kids is that, you know, kids directly, you know, are a direct result, obviously, of their parents. That's the reason that so many kids, so many people of our generation, you know, from, I don't know, 30 to our age or so, are all really, you know, the society is really materialistic and shallow because our parents, the baby boomers for the most part, sold out their values. And so what do you expect the children of a bunch of sellouts to be? You know, but every generation has the tendency to look at the newer generation and be like, oh, they're so much worse than whatever. So I'm not really willing to pass judgment right now on that. Do I think kids are less disciplined now than they were 100 years ago? Probably yes. Do you think the technological advancement is going to be increasingly beneficial to humanity, or is it going to do more harm than good? It depends on how quickly technology advances. It depends on how much time society has to adjust to advancements in technology. That's the ultimate question, I think. If we're given time to adjust, we'll be fine. If there's some sort of huge eruption in technology, you know, unparalleled by anything except for, you know, the Industrial Revolution or something like that, then I think we might see some serious problems. Would you ever grow a beard, then shave it off, keeping it intact, then putting it on a string and wear it as a fake? Would you put it on your dog? I swear I've already answered this question 3 or 4 times before. I think I've answered this question almost in every question video I've done. I'm not a very hairy person. I don't know if I could grow a quality full beard. And, you know, by keeping it intact, I mean you'd have to shave off the beard and then glue all of the hairs to like some sort of, you know, surface or something. I mean, unless you were just going to rip off all the skin from my face. So I guess the answer to that question is no. Are you a furry? No. I get to answer this fucking question every time. I swear to God, go away. Like I said before, I can understand most sexual fetishes. Like, I can get why someone, you know, is attracted to that. But, you know, these furry, I don't understand that one. That and people shitting on each other. those are a couple of the ones that I just don't get. Because really, furries are people that, you know, and it's funny because, you know, they're like, no, we're not into bestiality, you know. It's like, yeah, you are. you are interested in bestiality. There's not much of a leap from looking at furry hentai to fucking your dog. And that's pretty fucked up. Would you suck Barack Obama's cock if it would get him impeached and Ron Paul would become the president? If I didn't, if for some reason it was proved to me that Ron Paul could never become the president on his own, then I would consider it. Are you a libertarian or libertarian leaning? We will get to that later, because there's a question that, whatever, the point is we'll get to that later. Do you masturbate to furry porn? I'm pretty sure that, you know, if why would you ask that question and then re-ask the same question? I mean, it's essentially what you're doing. Can you suck my cock? Could I? Yes. Will I? No. Are you a virgin? No, but I'm not really proud of how I lost my virginity. Not that she wasn't gross or anything like that. It's just she was crazy, and I'm kind of an involuntary celibate. Could I get laid? Believe it or not, yes. Anyone can. Anyone who can't get laid they're just not getting laid because they think they can't get laid. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but that's just the way it goes. Could I get laid right now? Yes. Am I not getting laid because these people are ugly or fat or something? No, it's because they're crazy. I attract crazy people like the plague. I blame my mother for that. She has that same disease. Does Michigan suck ass? I mean, it all depends. Do you like the cold? If you don't like the cold, you're not going to like Michigan. But if you don't like the cold, you're a pussy and you should kill yourself. Anyone who can't deal with the cold doesn't deserve to live. But if you don't like the cold, yes, then Michigan is going to suck ass. It's very difficult to find a job right now, but I think it's going to become even more difficult for people in all the rest of the parts of the country to find jobs soon anyway. But it's really fucking hard to find a job. The number one thing I hate about Michigan is people who live in Michigan and talk about how much they hate Michigan. You know what I'm saying? It's like, then get the fuck out. There's other states where you can live in that are just as cheap as living in Michigan, like Ohio or Indiana. And you know why they won't move to Ohio or Indiana? Because Ohio and Indiana suck worse. I'm sorry, Ohio, but your state sucks. Ohio is basically, you take southeast Michigan and extend it over an entire state, a big state at that. Ohio is the most boring state to drive through ever. Ever. More boring than any of the states with all the corn and shit. More boring than that. Ohio looks like what the world would look like after the nuclear apocalypse. And the only other major thing is that the roads are really terrible here. They don't have any laws. We have the lowest. We don't have any weight restrictions. All the other states do, so our roads are terrible. I love driving on out-of-state roads. They're so fucking nice. Our roads are awful. And with all the freezing and thawing and freezing and thawing and freezing and thawing in the wintertime and all the salt that they throw down, it just tears up the roads. And even if they fix them, 3 years later, you're going to need to fix them, do the entire road again. It's fucking terrible. Would you suck off a guy for $1 million? If not, how much would you have to get to do such a thing? For $1 million, yes, I would do that. See, most people would be like, ew, suck off a guy? Oh my god, I wouldn't do that for $1 billion. It's like, alright, quit being such a fucking pussy, alright? Would I enjoy it? No. Is it the worst thing I can imagine happening to me? No. And for $1 million, present the dick. Anyone who would turn that down is an idiot, or really, 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 really rich. If you could choose a profession you wanted to without going to school or whatever, if you could have any profession or job you wanted, what would you choose and why? I'd like somebody to hand me a doctorate in some sort of history or philosophy, because I think I've earned it. And plus, if like somebody in a movie theater was having a heart attack and they said, "Is there a doctor in the house?" I could be like, "Yeah," and they'd be like, "Help this man." I'm like, "No, I'm sorry, I'm a doctor in philosophy or whatever," and then everyone get all disappointed and shit. And he'd die. Where do you want to be in life in 5, 10, 20 years? I don't know why there's like 2 negative comments on it. It's kind of harsh. 5 years, I'd like to own my own business. I'd like to own an adult-oriented smoke shop for smoking accessories. And by adult-oriented, I mean not directed towards stupid fucking potheads who are like, "Oh my god, you guys see my new bong? It's totally cool. It's got skulls on it. How much did you pay for it?" "Oh man, I paid $350 for it." "Okay, let me see it." "Oh yeah, look at it, man." And you see that this bong is not double blown, and it's hand painted with lead paint containing lead because it was imported from China, and it's not glass on glass. It's got rubber seals. "Yeah, but man, it's got a skull on it, man. Isn't that cool?" It hits like shit though, man. "Yeah, I know, but it's got a skull." Anyway, the point is I would like to be the owner and operator of a quality smoking accessories store. And in 10 years, I would like to have made enough money from that business to be able to go to school and do whatever the fuck I want, go to school at my leisure. And in 20 years, will I be 40? I'd like to have one child, a boy, only one child. I guess I could deal with a girl, but I don't know. Raising a girl would seem much more complicated than raising a boy. What are you planning on majoring in? What career do you think will lead you into? I'm currently a history major. What career do I think that'll lead me into? I don't know. Would you rather have to wear sweatpants for an entire year whilst having an erection you could never cover up, or have everyone you meet suspect you are a rapist? You must choose one. See, the thing with the permanent erection is, A, some people might like that. B, I might be able to pass it off as some sort of disorder, I have some sort of cancer that causes me to have a permanent erection, and people would feel sorry for me for having a permanent erection, but I don't want everyone to suspect I was a rapist. I feel I could have more options to if I had the permanent erection than if everyone thought I was a rapist. In one of your videos you had a Norwegian flag, so I just wonder if you've ever been to Norway. No, I've not. I believe I got that flag at Epcot Center in Disney. Disney World is the shit. Everything in Disney World is fucking cool except for Epcot Center. And anyone who doesn't think Disney World is cool is a loser. Alright? I'm going to tell you exactly why Disney World is cool. Because Disney World is the cleanest place I've ever seen in my entire life. It's a fucking theme park, and it is spotless. Spotless. The customer service is the best I've ever seen. I don't know how they get these people to act so fucking polite all the time, but whatever kind of drugs they're pumping them up with, I want everyone to be using that drug when they're at work. The most polite and helpful staff anywhere on the planet. Now, would I pay to go there, my own money? No, because it's too expensive. But if you said you want to go to Disney World, I would say, fuck yes, I would go to Disney World. But Epcot Center is kind of shitty. They need to update the stuff there. Update the stuff there. How big is... Whoop, shit. Well, I got another one ready anyway. How big is your music library? Well, I've lost all the things that I had on my computer when my hard drive died. So, I have a small collection of CDs. I have all of George Carlin's stuff, and I have some random shit, just mixed CDs and stuff. I'm trying to grow my vinyl collection, but it's slow going. It's difficult. There's lots of shitty used vinyl out there, at the stores and stuff, but really the only place to find all the cool stuff is online. Do you think that mankind's priority should be space exploration? Do I think it should be our #1 priority? No. Do I think it should be a priority? Yes. I'm all in favor of that. What kind of scientific advancements we could come up with, I don't know, but there's got to be something. Would it be badass? Yes, and that is my primary reason for being in favor of space exploration, because that's badass. I know it's kind of an ego trip I just want to see somebody plant a flag on Mars, just because. If I can see that in my lifetime, I'll be a happy person. And plus, I think sometime in the relatively near future, we might need to get off this planet for one reason or another. We need to consider options. How often do you go clubbing? I don't go clubbing. First of all, I don't drink, so I wouldn't go drink and dance. I don't dance. The music they have is terrible, and I wouldn't go to a club to meet women because that's not the place you go to meet quality people, is the club. What types of conflicts interest you the most in novels, films, and in history? I always like when there's a big war going on, and then all the little individual human stories that go on. Even when there's this huge war, this huge event that's bigger than any of the individuals, it doesn't stop the normal kind of problems that you have in your normal life. It doesn't stop them. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like a lot of the Star Wars books, because there's these giant fucking galaxy-spanning wars and conflicts. Trillions of beings are being killed, but there's still all these little individual conflicts, the day-to-day shit that we all have to deal with, and it's given. It's an interesting contrast to see that. It doesn't always work as well in films. Because a lot of times when people are making war films, they focus on the explosions and stuff more than the individual characters. But sometimes it works out well, like Band of Brothers, which is one of my favorite things. It's not really a film, I guess. I mean, it is, but it's a mini-series. Excuse me. It's the best war movie / mini-series thing ever made. Generation Kill is good, too. They got this big war going on, big in comparison with what we've been used to. But still, they got all these little individual fights and stuff going on between all the different people in the unit and all that shit, and I find that interesting. And in history, I consider myself a minor expert in... I say minor because it seems like you can never learn everything about the Second World War. But people think about the Second World War as this big thing, First, as far as Americans are concerned, there was some Pearl Harbor thing, and then some D-Day thing, and then some nuclear thing, and then it was over. That's the knowledge of the majority of Americans. But there's all these cool, interesting little human dramas that went on at the same time. All this stuff that people just don't know about. That's all just as amazing as the big things that happened. What do you think of gangsta rap? I like some of Dr. Dre's stuff. I like some of Tupac's stuff. It's a shame that he had to be murdered over that stupid shit. Though, this is one of the only conspiracy theories I've been willing to consider as reasonably possible, is that Suge Knight had Tupac Shakur killed to get the rights to his music to make a shit ton of money off of it. That's the only conspiracy theory I've ever really heard that I'm willing to indulge in that one. I don't know why, but it just seems possible to me. I like... I don't know if Young Jeezy is considered gangster rap. I guess it is. I don't know. But he's hilarious. Young Jeezy is fucking awesome. That shit's funny as hell. Don't let your hatred of rap steer you away from Young Jeezy, because especially his first album, his first big album, is fucking hilarious. Thug Motivation 101. Hilarious. What is your opinion on Obama's health care proposals? I don't even know what's going on with them, because it's been changed so many times. This is my thing on healthcare, alright? if someone could put a proposal in front of me that gives us a way to make prices reasonable so that poor people can get fucking health care without the government having to offer health care to them, I'm all for that. If you can find a way to do that without the government having to introduce its own program, that you can sell me on that 10 times. But that doesn't seem to be going down. The insurance companies are fucking evil. There should be. I think that they could find a way to pass new laws to regulate the way that insurance companies are run, that would eliminate the need, for a government program. The amount of money that costs is outrageous. And you know that the cost on drugs is way more than it needs to be, because now you can get all the generic versions of older drugs, more common drugs, are almost nothing. They cost almost nothing. So what's the excuse on the newer drugs that they come out with? I don't think an insurance company should be able to fucking drop you because you get sick. What's the point of health insurance if they won't pay for your health? If you get cancer, you shouldn't get fucking dropped from your insurance company. If the insurance company doesn't want to deal with the risk of insuring people who might have cancer, I guess they shouldn't be in the insurance business. That's how I feel about that. And for fun, who do you think is more pathetic, the Lions or the Raiders? Dude, the Lions. The Lions are the worst franchise in sports history, at least in the United States. Maybe there's some football franchises in the rest of the world that suck just as much as the Lions. The Lions are American football. Yeah, whatever. Fuck you. It's football. The Lions are terrible. There's no excuse for that level of incompetence at all. I want the owner to die so that somebody who's competent can purchase the team and fire everyone in management, everyone in the front, everybody, fire them all, and better yet, burn them at the stake in the middle of Ford Field in front of a sellout crowd. Burn them alive. All right, it's not your coaches. Okay, you switch coaches every year or two. It's not the fucking coach. Okay, there's something else wrong here. I don't care if you have the worst draft picks, just the worst of all the people that are up for drafting in the NFL. There's no excuse for not winning one fucking game. Fuck you. Okay. Terrible. I don't even like football. I really don't. But it just pisses me off. They're so embarrassingly bad. If we didn't have the Red Wings, we'd be fucked. And the Red Wings just decided, Game 5, they're like, it's a Stanley Cup. Oh, we're not gonna try. Why try hard? It's just the Stanley Cup. It's just the most prestigious trophy in sports. Why even fucking bother trying to win? We get beaten by a team that's not even really a team. We get beaten by two people. It was fucking terrible. I don't know. That pissed me off. I was very disappointed. Overall, how would you rate Obama's performance thus far? I don't really want to answer this question because I don't think it's fair, but fine, I'll indulge you. It hasn't been, we haven't seen what the results are going to be of the healthcare reform, so I'm going to leave that alone for now. He hasn't had the chance to do that yet. The fiscal conservative in me wanted to blow its brains out when I heard about how much money he had spent. But the realist in me understands that it doesn't really matter, because it's funny listening to people actually, act like they care about the national debt. Until we're willing to do something about the number one thing, the number one thing in our government that creates debt, which is the Federal Reserve, I I don't think it even matters to talk about anything else. But I don't think it's been long enough to determine whether all that money that he spent has done good or not. I'm going to give him some more time on that. As far as making us look better and not like a bunch of fucking knuckle-dragging idiots to the rest of the world, that he's done a good job of that so far. You know, yes, I understand he reads from a teleprompter. No shit, they all do. But imagine this. George Bush was reading from a fucking teleprompter and he still sounded like that. He still sounded like a fucking idiot. So it's nice to have a president that can at least read. I think that's at least, I think that's a major qualification to be the president of the most powerful country on the planet. You should be able to read. And hopefully Obama will get the Europeans to shut the fuck up. Europe has been up on its high horse for the last decade, and I just want them to shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ, just shut up. Anyway, no offense to Europeans, because I talk to a lot of people from the UK especially. No offense to you, but Europe has been pissing me off. And we seem to have a good plan for getting out of Iraq. And he's focusing attention on Afghanistan. And some people feel that that's a betrayal of the, you know, of his commitment to, I don't know, getting us out of the war. But I wanted to, you know, I feel that Afghanistan is a winnable conflict. Why is vinyl better than digital media? I agree that vinyl is cool to listen to and fun to collect records, but why is it better than a medium that's far better quality sound and can be copied, blah, 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 blah. Alright, first of all, alright, let me explain it to you this way. If you were to walk into my room and say to me, hey Chris, I have the new whatever album, do you want to listen to it? Sure. Okay, we can listen to it on MP3, we can listen to it on CD, we can listen to it on cassette, or we can listen to it on vinyl. Which of those things would I choose? I would choose vinyl. If you said to me right now, you know, you need to have music to travel, obviously I wouldn't pick vinyl. I don't think the digital media has better sound quality. I think brand new vinyl has the best sound quality of any other medium. And that's just the way I feel. Obviously you can't copy vinyl, and I understand all that. But like I said, if you were to present me, if you were to say you can listen to this on any of these things, I would pick vinyl. So get off my dick about that one. People have been bugging me about that for the last week or so. What do you think of Ayn Rand? Ayn Rand can suck a cock. I don't like Ayn Rand. She's a poor excuse for a philosopher. She's a fucking totalitarian whore. And anyone who likes Ayn Rand is an idiot. Or more likely, they feel they're a pseudo-intellectual fool. Ayn Rand can go fuck herself, is what I have to say about that. V for Vendetta or Watchmen. I haven't seen Watchmen, but I imagine you can't beat V for Vendetta. Why? Because V for Vendetta has Natalie Portman in it, and Natalie Portman is awesome. Natalie Portman is so beautiful that she's still hot when she has no hair. If you can achieve that, that's the ultimate. If you can have your head completely shaved and look all fucked up from being in a jail cell or whatever for a week or two and still look hot, that's awesome. And Natalie Portman can pull that shit off. Where do you get your news from? I try to get news from as many different sources as possible. I do CNN, I got NBC or MSNBC. I read Fox's website. I can't stand to listen to those people talk, but I still want to hear what they have to say. I listen to Al Jazeera English, BBC, and I listen to NPR. That's where I get my BBC from. They do BBC World News on NPR. And the cool thing about the BBC is even when it's some terrible news, just hearing a British person say it makes you feel a little bit better about whatever happened. You know. What is your political philosophy? We'll get to that later because, like I said, there was a better one of that. Who is your favorite writer? My favorite writer is Stephen King. Is he the best writer? No. But he is the most consistently entertaining of all the writers that I've read their books. I think Stephen King's biggest flaw is that he doesn't know when to stop writing. He wants to keep going and going and going. You can tell that if nobody gave him a deadline, a book could go on forever. I think that's his biggest fault. I think the best science fiction writer I've read is Timothy Zahn. He's done the best Star Wars books, bar none, and introduced the best the best expanded universe character ever, which is Grand Admiral Thrawn. Most of you probably don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I really like Harry Turtledove's books, but he's not that good of a writer. I really like his stories that he's created, these big, epic stories, but he's not that great of a writer. I wish that he had co-written the books with somebody else who was a little bit better of a writer, because I think he just repeats the same sort of things over and over again, and a lot of the characters just seem to blend. They're really similar, but they're still good books. He's just not that great of a writer. What books do you recommend? I recommend everyone reads what the fuck are they called? I'm trying to think of the name of Harry Turtledove's series about the South and whatever. I'll put the name up later when I put this out as an annotation. I really do recommend that people read the Star Wars books. They're really a lot better than you think they would be. Read American Fascist. That's Chris Hedges. That's an excellent book, too. And you know what's actually a lot better than I thought it would be is TJ's book. It's real cheap. I'd actually recommend reading that. I'm not doing that to suck his dick or anything. He hasn't spoken to me in months, but still, it's still a good book. If you could easily clone yourself for free, would you do it? If so, how many times? No, I don't think I'd clone myself. If you had sex with your clone, would it be classified as masturbation or homosexuality? See, a clone, excuse me, a clone, all a clone is really an identical twin. They don't have the same mind as you or anything like that. So, if you considered having sex with your identical twin to be masturbation, then I guess it'd be masturbation, but I guess I would consider it incestuous homosexuality. So I guess the answer to that question. What do you think of Frank Zappa? I like some of his stuff. What's a better Stephen King novel, The Dead Zone or Firestarter, The Dead Zone? Would you rather live a long, fulfilled life or be immortal with the condition that at some point in the future you would be all alone, being the only person left in the universe? If I could have like the kind of immortality where I couldn't die ever from anything, like even if you shot me in the face, I'd take that, because even if everyone on the planet died and I was still alive, I'd just float through the universe until I ran across somebody or something. There's got to be some aliens somewhere. I'll take my chances with that. What kind of bullshit is a 19 and up show? This band Caspian is coming to New York, and now that I'm 18, I've been able to see explosions in the sky, etc. I just can't understand a 19 and up show. It can't be for alcohol. I've been in venues with bars, and the content can't be explicit as instrumental music. Why are these people breaking my balls? If you were in Canada, I could understand a 19 and up show because of the drinking age. In New York, I don't know what's up with that, man. I've never heard of anything like that. It's quite possible that they're trying to get back at you simply for being from New York, which I can't really blame them, because the next time I hear someone talk about how people from New York are tougher than people from whatever, shut the fuck up, okay? Fuck you. That was a little harsh. No offense to people from New York. I know that's not really your fault. Just the way the media portrays you. Do you believe in hard determinism? I'm not sure what that is, so I'm going to skip that. Have you ever considered making a do-it-yourself shirt. It's a lot cheaper, and you don't have to go to the mall or deal with the fucktard emos at Hot Topic. See, I can't draw or anything. I mean, what am I going to do? Write Black Dahlia Murder on the shirt? I don't have a machine that I can print out the iron-on decals or anything like that. And the shirt was $10. You know, I imagine, I consider the effort that it would take me to make the shirt would be in excess of $10. And I can deal with the people at Hot Topic long enough to buy a shirt. When was the last fight you were in? I haven't been in a fight in a long time. I didn't get into fights in high school because I knew I couldn't get away with getting into the fights in the school if I started them. And people would try to fight me, and I'd just always say, fine, you hit me first. And no one would do it. I mean, people who would clearly have kicked my ass, people who I knew, even at the time, this person would kick my ass, won't do shit. You know, hit me first. They won't do it. They'd be like, you meet me after school. I'd be like, no, I'm not going to go meet you after school so you can bring your friends or whatever. I'm not stupid. So, I didn't get into any fights, but it wasn't from lack of trying. Have you taken any drugs? Yes, I've taken some drugs. Why do you think the Ron Paul supporters don't seem to be organizing to take the Republican Party away from failed neocons and religious types? To turn it back into a true conservative party, have the Republicans not fallen far enough and failed miserably enough to make this a real possibility? I think we'll see a resurgence of Ron Paul support over the next year or two. But, I don't know, I think everyone is really frustrated with the Republican Party. I mean, besides the people who are like, you know, death to fags and I hate niggers, I think everyone else, besides those two groups, and old people who are too old to recognize what the Republican Party is now, like my grandparents. I think now is the time for a real third party. And I think it could be pulled off. I really do. But they have to do it now, when the Republican Party is at its weakest. But you'll see a return of Ron Paul supporters, again, over the next year or two. What is your view on stem cell research? I am in favor of stem cell research. I'm in favor of anything that can cure human disease. Go for it. Anyone who's against stem cell research is a fucking moron, religious psychopath. Now, I've read the Bible. I haven't seen any part of it that says that you can't, you know, that you can't do stem cell research. I've never found any of the part that says that you can't have an abortion either, but who knew? Apparently life is sacred. Who the fuck, you know, what is that? What the fuck does that mean? You know, George Carlin had a whole thing about that. Life isn't, you know, we get to choose what parts of life are sacred. Are mosquitoes sacred? No. Are diseases and, you know, anthrax, are they sacred? No. You know, whatever. The point is I'm in favor of stem cell research. If you were given a device that allowed you to view any 3 events in history, what 3 events would you choose to see? But I can't interact with them. The first one is I want to go back in time to when Jesus was supposed to live with a video camera and prove once and for all that he didn't exist. Because I am personally 100% sure that Jesus Christ never existed. There is no evidence from that time period that a Jesus Christ or a Jesus of Nazareth or a person claiming to be the Son of God ever existed. And, you know, all the shit that they say in there just historically doesn't make sense. Oh yeah, the Jews talked the Roman governor into killing this person if he didn't want to. Listen, alright, if the Roman governor didn't want to do something, the fucking Israelites were not going to talk him into it, okay? Like, you know, whatever. The point is that in any historical evidence about Jesus, it was all written hundreds of years after he died. So, I'd like to be able to prove that. I would like to go back to when John F. Kennedy was killed and prove that there was nobody on the fucking grassy knoll. And I'd like to go back to 9/11 and take a video camera through all the areas in the tower and shit and show that there were no fucking explosives. But still nobody would believe me. You commonly refer to yourself as a conservative. All right, this is the good question. You commonly refer to yourself as a conservative and a Republican, but it's always necessary to clarify that you're a fiscal conservative instead of a neocon and a true Barry Goldwater-esque Republican. The words conservative and Republican have entirely different connotations now than they did in the past. So do you think we would benefit from throwing away these older definitions and using different words to describe a fundamentally unchanged ideology? I really wish that I could say no, but I think that I'm fighting a losing battle here. The only chance we could have is if we could get neocons to admit that they're neocons. If the Republican Party changed their name, that would be very nice. But I've created a new word, which I think is a good word. It is the word that I'm using to describe myself. As far as I understand, it's something that I've created myself. I haven't found it anywhere. Which is a Republican, which is sort of what Ron Paul is, which is really what the Republican Party is. Limited government, fiscal conservancy, keeping the government out of your personal life, all of these things. The problem is that different words mean so many different things to different people. Now with certain groups of libertarians, you can't be a libertarian unless you're against the state or whatever, some kind of stupid shit like that. But I'm created a new word, and it's Republican Libertarian. Say it. Maybe it'll catch on. Because I think it's a good word. What type of creative activities do you partake in? Well, I don't draw or anything. Sometimes I write stuff, but usually when I write something, I end up being disappointed. I don't like it anymore when I reread it a while later. I used to write little short stories and stuff all the time. One thing I always like to do I'd sit in class and people would say something stupid and I'd write something about that. But I don't draw or anything. I do these videos. I consider them to be creative to a certain extent. Which movie character would you most like to live in the end that originally did not? I would like Matt Damon's character at the end of The Departed to live. I was very disappointed when he died. I thought that was bullshit. Because Mark Wahlberg killed him, and I don't have anything against Mark Wahlberg as a person, but he just looks like a douchebag. He looks like the kind of person that I want to punch in the face. But I was very disappointed when he killed Matt Damon. I don't really consider Matt Damon's character to have been the bad guy in that movie. I consider the bad guy in that movie to be, was it Martin Sheen, who played Queenan, and Mark Wahlberg, who played whatever the other dude's name is. I consider them to be the bad guys, because they fucking manipulated Leonardo DiCaprio's character into doing something he didn't want to do, and potentially fucking up his life, because basically they have a vendetta against Jack Nicholson's character. And they didn't even do enough research to find out that he was a fucking protected FBI informant. Like, they couldn't have found that out if they'd tried hard enough. And they had him in on all these felonies and shit, and they still didn't, they just kept pushing it. And they didn't seem to really give a fuck about what happened to Leonardo DiCaprio. And what did Matt Damon do? I mean, sure, he let Jack Nicholson get away with selling some drugs. Who cares? He let him get away with selling some microchips, or not even really. He didn't really even sell them. Who cares? He helped him get away with murdering 2 mob members. Like, I give a fuck. All Matt Damon was doing was protecting, someone who he felt had helped him when he was growing up or whatever. Whether or not Jack Nicholson manipulated him is not really important, because he didn't feel like he was being manipulated, and whatever. The point is that I wish he didn't. I wish he hadn't been killed, and I thought it was kind of rich of his girlfriend to be all pissy about him lying to her. Obviously, before Leonardo DiCaprio's character ended up dead, but she was all mad at him or whatever. I mean, she fucked a guy who, as far as she knew, was a fucking violent criminal with a drug addiction while she was supposed to be living with him. And you're going to get mad at, I don't know, it kind of pissed me off. What is your opinion on the term opinion? Do you think it is sometimes used to disguise the fact that someone doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about? Do you think that it is sometimes used on issues where opinion doesn't really play a role? For example, something where you can definitely point to proof, and yet people will state that their opinion is contradictory. Obviously, yes, like in the evolution debate, which I'm becoming more and more frustrated about, you know, be like, evolution is an opinion. Like, no, it's not, okay? But some things, it's arguable whether it's an opinion or not. You know, take my argument with Confederal Socialists. Either one of us could claim that we have solid facts to back us up, but really, what we're doing is we're arguing on human nature, which is really an opinion. You know, but you could argue that it's not an opinion. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But yes, I think sometimes the word opinion is used. The word opinion is used to attack people who have actual proof, like evolutionists. How do you feel about transhumanism? I've answered this question like 3 times before. What? Not this time, but before. What other drugs have you done besides pot? Are there any you thought about doing? Acid, etc. Yes, I've done other drugs besides pot. I tried coke once. It's overrated. I accidentally did PCP once. It's fucked up. Xanax is fucking awesome, but too awesome. I wouldn't really recommend it because you'll like it way too much. Anyone who actually is so fucked up that they need Xanax, I cannot imagine being in that state of mind. Is all I got to say about that. You know, things like Vicodin, but all the times I've had Vicodin is when I was actually in pain, and I got Oxycontin once, but I did hurt myself, so I guess it was legitimate, but it still fucked me up. I haven't tried any hallucinogens. I'm not interested in ecstasy because that's not really my kind of high. I'm not sure if I'd try acid because I'm not sure if I can trust the acid being presented to me. I might try shrooms sometime. I'm not against it, I just haven't gotten around to it. What do you think of Thunderfoot's conversation with Ray C? I don't think he should have done it. There is no reason, I repeat, no reason to attempt to have an intelligent discussion with someone who believes that the Earth is 6,000 years old and that a wizard fucking made us all appear all at once. That kind of person does not deserve to be talked to. They deserve to be talked down to. And I don't care, people will be like, well, that's not helpful to the whatever. I don't care, okay? If you're going to sit there in the face of overwhelming scientific evidence and say, oh, I just believe, go fuck yourself, okay? There's no reason for any self-respecting person to try to discuss anything with somebody like that. And I think that Thunderfoot did himself a disservice to even try. I think he was insulting himself. That's how I feel about that. Since you never answered this the first time I asked, does the fact that due to smoking and obesity you're likely to die before the age of 40 bother you? I would argue that you have no proof that I'm likely to die before the age of 40. I know plenty of way fatter people than me who've lived long, full lives. But, you know, I don't plan on always being fat. You know, there's no guarantee on that. I definitely don't plan on continuing smoking for any more than the next couple of years. So, that's that. If you got to choose which race you were born as, which race would you pick? I'd stay white just because it seems to cause me the least problems. I'm trying to be practical here. Would you date a chick with small tits? Sure. I mean, how small? If you got... yes. Let's just be clear on that. Yes, I would. I'm not attracted... I'm not really interested in gigantic tits. That's not really my thing. I like something kind of mid-sized. Like a C or a B. People have different opinions on what's small and what's big. I don't know. Do you wipe standing up or sitting down, or a combination of the two? I guess sitting down. I mean, what do you mean by standing? Like standing full up? Do you stand up completely at attention and then wipe your ass? I've never done that before. Do you think that Thunderfoot was too easy on Ray? If so, do you think it was strategic, or he was just different in person than he is in his videos? He was trying to talk to this person like he was actually intelligent. Nobody, no one who honestly believes the things that creationists believe are intelligent at all. A lot of them don't believe it. They're using it for their own purposes. Then they might be intelligent people. But anyone who honestly believes, when being presented with the evidence of evolution, if they actually believe in creationism, they are an idiot. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't care, okay? Fucking idiot. And people are like, well, did you know that, such and such ancient person believed that God created... Yeah, because they didn't have evolution in front of them, okay? They didn't have that evidence. They can be forgiven, okay? But I'm pretty sure if you took Plato or, Aristotle or something and gave them evolution, they'd probably be like, oh yeah, this makes a lot of sense, and they'd fucking believe in that. You said during Blog TV, excellent session by the way, I enjoyed it a lot, thank you, that it should be legal to possess and view pedophilia and snuff porn. Would you say to those people who argue that such porn charges changes society's views on such illegal acts? No. Let's pause here. I did not say it should be legal to possess pedophilia, kiddie porn. I did not say that. What I said was that the simple act of possessing child porn should not get you sent to prison. You should be required to undergo some counseling or something, because obviously you're a sick fuck. But the simple act of possessing that pornography should not get you sent to prison, okay? Because the reason that child porn is illegal is not because it's icky and it offends you. The reason child porn is illegal is because you had to take advantage of a child to make that pornography. Now, as far as drawn, now I did say that it shouldn't be illegal to possess drawn child porn because that is outrageous. If you find yourself attracted to children, you should consider getting some counseling. Do I think it should be illegal to possess pictures that you drew, of cartoon child porn? No, because that's fucking stupid, because there was no crime there. No child was taken advantage of. Are you obviously a sick fuck? Yes. Okay? But being a sick fuck does not equate to going to prison. Alright? People who make child porn, real-life child porn, need to go to prison because they're taking advantage of children. They're probably raping them, too. Even if they're just taking pictures or something. And as far as snuff porn, do you mean real snuff porn? If it's real snuff porn, you need to find out who did that because they killed somebody. If it's simulated bondage, simulated rape, any of these kind of things that consenting adults are doing, I don't think should be illegal. And the key term is consenting adults. If there's something going on with consenting adults, whatever. Go for it. Feel free to do whatever the fuck you want. So that's my stance on that. So let me make it clear. I do not think it should be legal to possess pictures of naked children and adults fucking naked children. That's not what I said. Do you like the band Queen? Yes, I do. Do you believe in human-caused global warming? If yes, what do you think about Ron Paul not accepting it during Bill Maher's politically incorrect, saying that there were respectable scientists on both sides, and asking what should we do about volcanoes and China's emissions? Should America reduce its emissions? Should America reduce its emissions? If you don't believe it, I suggest you watch Green Man 3610's videos. This is my stance on human-caused global warming, and it's somewhat in between, and I know I'm still going to catch some shit. I do not think that human beings are solely responsible for this increase in this global warming. Do I think that emissions have contributed to it? Yes. Do I think we need to do everything in our power to limit emissions? Yes. Okay? But do I think that we are the ones completely responsible for it? No. All right? And there are respectable scientists on both sides of this argument. I don't think any respectable scientist has said Yeah, sure, pollute all you fucking want. That's not happened. Are there respectable scientists who said, look, wait, hold on, maybe we didn't do all of this? Yes. And I think it's important to find out whether we are completely responsible, because then that affects, that should affect our planning of taking care of the problem. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think anyone could argue that we're polluting the planet. We need to stop doing that as much as possible. We need to stop pouring toxins into the water and stop leaving trash on the fucking side of the road and all this shit, and reduce emissions. But the problem is that people have been convinced that we're going to start some sort of global, there really are people that believe that something like the day after tomorrow is possible, and that's bullshit. If you were to be executed but given the choice which gun you would be shot with, which one would you choose? I don't really care what you shoot me with, as long as it's big enough to kill me in one shot to the head. If I'm going to be executed, shoot me in the back of the head, please. I don't want to deal with being shot in the chest or whatever. No, shoot me in the back of the head. You want to shoot me with a 9mm, go for it. You want to shoot me with a 22? Shoot me right in the back of the head. Kill me. Just if you're gonna execute me by gunfire, please shoot me in the back of the head. Thank you. For future reference. What do you think of cap and trade? What do you think about environmental politics in general? I believe in government enforcing environmental law. Yes, I believe that the government does have the right to protect the health of the country in general. So I believe in government intervention if companies are getting out of control. But the thing that you have to remember is that there's other countries spewing out way more shit than we are right now anyway, and we need to worry about that too, figure out how we're going to get them on board, but I don't think that's going to happen with the Chinese. Who in your real life has most influenced your thinking? How have they influenced you? By example, long chats, formal teaching, some other means. The number one real person I've known in my life that's influenced me the most is me, which I know sounds kind of fucked up and you think it's a joke, but it's not. It's true. But my teacher in ROTC in high school, Petty Officer Polk, helped me a lot. My mother, some stuff like that. But as far as developing my thoughts, like my opinions and stuff, I'm really going to go with me. Though I will give my mom some credit for not raising me in a religious manner. So, thank you, Mother. Are there certain requirements a person should meet before owning a gun? Yes, I think that there should be some sort of test to determine whether you're mentally sound. So yes, I think there's. Have you heard of the MP's expenses scandal that happened here in the UK? I've heard about it, but I don't know what it's about. But our last president committed war crimes. And it appears that the vice president might have organized an assassination ring. So take that and your pussy expense scandals, England. Yeah, we got war criminals. Fuck you. The number of people who are atheist, Islamic, and fundamentalist Christian are on the rise. Every other religion is declining. How do you see this ending? I think it could be World War III. In order to answer that question, I'd have to know: are they rising at the same rate? What's growing quickest, and in what demographic? I don't have enough, to answer that question. Do you think that Islam in the West will have an even larger, more direct war in the future? Oh, God, I hope so. I'm so fucking sick of the Middle East in general. I just go the fuck away and shut the fuck up. Like, really, I'm willing to if you people want to live like it's the year 600, go for it. I don't fucking care anymore, okay? Leave me the fuck alone. I don't care about your life, okay? Stop threatening to kill me. If I could just make them all go away, just kill them all. I'm so fucking sick of the Middle East. I'm tired of it. I'm sorry, it just pissed me off. I don't want to stop the video, so I'm going to make a cigarette, and you're going to just watch, I guess. But yeah, no, seriously though. I'm really tired of the Middle East in general. I'm tired of Muslims lying about their religion being, quote, peaceful or whatever. I fucking had enough of it. Thank you very much. Feel free to go the fuck away at any time. What would you do and how would you feel if you were the last human being left alive on the planet? I don't know. I guess I'd read a lot and I guess I'd be lonely. What's your favorite game? KOTOR. What do you think of indie rock? Indie rock is like any other genre that's got its goods and its bads. I'm not like, yeah, but I'm not against it. I already answered that question. What question are you asked the most when you do question videos? What is the stupidest question you've ever been asked? The two questions I'm asked most seem to be, what is my political orientation and all the different circumstances in which I might suck a cock. This seems to be really high up on people's interest, meters. Really curious on what they could do to make me suck a cock. I don't know what that says about you or me. I don't know. What's the stupidest question I've ever been asked? I don't know. That thing about the beard was pretty fucking dumb. Do you like living in Detroit? Well, I don't live in Detroit. It's a mixed bag. It really is. Refer to the things I said about Michigan to answer that question. You're the president and you find out that China has launched 100 nukes at the U.S. What do you do? Launch back? Kill them all? Hope that I kill more of them than they killed of me? That's really the only option. Kill everyone. That's what I'd do. That's exactly what would happen. That's the protocol. So, what is your opinion on bassists who use picks? It really all depends on what kind of music you're playing. A lot of bassists who play metal bass end up using picks, which makes a lot more sense. But for some other stuff, it just doesn't make sense to use picks. It really all depends on what type of music they're playing. What do you fear? I am incredibly afraid of heights. Really afraid of heights, man. I'm not a fan. What is it that you most regret? I most regret my failures with this one girl in high school. I fucked that up hard. Yeah, I guess that's a good answer to that question. She might even see this video, but she might not know I'm talking about her. What are your aspirations on and off YouTube? My aspirations on YouTube, I'd like to get more subscribers. Not just to have more subscribers. I feel like I'd like to talk to more people. But that comes with its goods and its bads. It's harder to maintain a personal, dialogue with a lot of your subscribers. Like, I recognize a lot of these people's names. I recognize Dead Society Poet. I know who you are. This person, Ode to Necrophilia. I know who that is. I know who the Stigo is. I know who these people are. But if I had 50,000 subscribers or something, I might not recognize people's names. But I'd like to get more subscribers. At some point in time, I might be interested in writing a book. So it'd be nice to be able to sell it. But I wouldn't do it unless I thought it was actually a good book. My aspirations off YouTube, I already answered that question. Name 10 bands you would like to see live that you haven't yet. since you didn't specify, I'm just going to change the rules to being bands that might not exist anymore, that I wish I could have seen. I wish I could have seen an Eminem concert before he became a giant faggot. I wish that I could have seen the Beatles back in the day. I wish I could have seen Zeppelin in 1974 or 1972. What is that, 3? I'd like to see David Bowie. It's 4. What else, man? I'd like to have seen The Who. I'd like to see Marcus Miller play bassist. That's 6. I'd like to see the White Stripes. That's 7. I'd like to see Weird Al in concert. I know he's not really a band or anything, but I've heard his concerts are good. I'd like to see Young Jeezy in concert. That'd be cool, depending on who he brought with him. And I would have liked to have seen a Black Sabbath concert. That's 10, right? That's close enough. What is the best food to eat when you're high? I don't know. There's not really a best food to eat when you're high. I recommend that if you're going to get high and you don't want to eat a bunch of junk food, that you have yourself a bunch of like strawberries or raspberries or some little fruit that you can like munch on or something. That way you're eating something decent, but it's still like munchies. You know, blueberries or something like that. That's my recommendation to you, to try to be as healthy as possible. Is it just me, or have you sort of died into the background of YouTube? You used to make a lot of videos and be ranting about a lot of subjects and stuff, and they were pretty entertaining besides getting your point across. Why don't you do those anymore? I don't know what you're talking about. I still do exactly what you're talking about. I don't feel that people are any less entertained by my videos. I imagine if people were no longer entertained, my subscriber count would be going down. So I don't agree with you. So that's the answer to that question. I'm having trouble understanding why this person who I thought was a close friend just stopped talking to me, even though he gave me the impression that he wanted to spend time with me. And we did spend time together a lot and enjoyed each other's company. I tried emailing him and calling him on the phone, but he doesn't respond. This is illogical to me. I like spending time with him, but I don't want to try to repeatedly call him if he's not going to answer me. What should I do? Either you're just gonna have to wait for him to call you, man. I mean, he might have just. I mean, I don't want to be down on you, but he might have just said that to. Might have just said he wanted to hang out with you more because he wanted to make you feel better, or he might, be going through some shit. Maybe he's got a girlfriend or something. I don't know. Something like that's going on again. Will you be doing a Dear Fat Ass again soon? Yeah, sure. I was planning on. I need some more questions though. Have you ever tried Lucky Strike cigarettes? And on the Dear Fat Ass thing, because I've received a lot of questions, but a lot of them were really long, and people requested that I just answer to them personally, so I didn't do those on video. But I need some more questions, man. That's a prerequisite for me being able to answer them. Ow. Have you ever tried Lucky Strike cigarettes? Everyone says they are the best. They're alright. I'm not. I'll take a Marlboro any day. And that's the end of the questions. I'm sure people are going to continue. Going to continue to submit questions after I did this. I'll even refresh and just see if anyone's. Nope, no. Okay. Alright, that appears to be the end of the questions. So, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm not sure how long it is yet, but I'm sure it was pretty long. So, I'll see you folks later.